Hey, what's up, guys? It's a Wednesday upload. Now, this deck I was a huge fan of. You guys saw me post the Pure BA list last Wednesday, I think it was. I got nothing but love on that. I appreciate the love for that. So I decided to do the Pure, well, not Pure really, but it's the Phantom Knights with the Amazement stuff. So I've been playtesting with the Amazement stuff. I think the Amazement stuff is just very underrated right now. Like, if it's very cheap, so it's like something that you should pick up if you're like interested, because I think the cards are like way down right now. So plus it's like they get one more support card that's like fairly decent. The cards will just go woo, see you later. But I do have a fan in the window, so once I light this, the smoke will get sucked out, so don't hate me. Yeah, guys, without further ado, it's Amazement Phantom Knights, Phantom Knight Amazement. I don't know.
That card looks like a Pac-Man card.
It really does. All right. Once again, this is one of those trap decks that has like a bunch of like aggression to it. Like it's like you can actually kind of go super hard with it for no reason. All right, so and I'm gonna explain these stuff. So I'm not gonna explain the Amazement portion because you know. So the Arlecchino. So whenever a trap card is activated, he can summon himself. Whenever your opponent's normal or special summons a monster, you can equip an Amazement to it. Amazement trap from your deck. Not Amazement, but you know what I mean. So during your turn, you can banish X amount of Amazement traps from your graveyard. And pop that many cards. It's not once per turn. It's not like Dark-Armed Dragon. It's not like banish one pop, banish one pop. It's all at the same time, like I've explained in the past. So this card's very good with the Phantom Knight stuff because you can do the. I'll show you. You probably know where I'm going with this, but so obviously for the Phantom Knight count, obviously 3 Torn Scales, 2 boots, 2 cloak, 1 gloves, and. This is probably one of my favorite ones, but if you guys remember my Phantom Knight profile from the past, where I made the Kali Yuga on my opponent's turn with just a tour guide, this is just more of a control base instead of just blow your opponent out, you know what I mean? But these are all just very good. I really am a fan of. I was going to play 2-1. I just really like this card because the buff 800 actually comes up sometimes. So obviously you see the count here, so it's just very good. Everyone knows what these Phantom Knight cards do, so I'm not gonna go super in depth with them. And then so I chose to still play the small BA package. 1 Graph, 1 Seer, 1 Libic. So this is for the Cherubini. Like the if you draw one of these, you send this with the Cherubini, and then it summons this, and then blah blah. Because it's like the 2 level 3s just get you Cherubini, and then it gets you the Rusty, and then it gets you the Cherubini back, and then you have a bunch of back rows, which is very good. Plus, especially if you draw the Arlecchino or the other stuff that goes with the Amazement stuff. So 1 Collector's Rare Rhoda. Shout out to my boy Devin. He bought some packs, pulled a Collector's Rare Rhoda, and traded it to me. Love you, brother. Appreciate it. I think this is the only spell and the ticket. So the ticket is the yeah, you like the way this looks. Yeah, you can have all these. So this is pay 800, add a Amazement monster from your deck to your hand, or if it's set on your opponent's turn, you can pay 800, set 1 Amazement trap from your deck to the field, and it can be activated that turn. It's just very broken. These are the only 4 spells that I play. And then the 3 Shade Brigandine the 3 Fog Blade. Fog Blade's very good. So like the reason this deck's very good, or the reason I liked it, is because obviously, like I mentioned, the Shade Brigandine. This is why, like, if you draw the Arlecchino, you can set this on your own turn and then play it, and then that'll trigger the Arlecchino to summon. You know what I mean? So you get like the 2 bodies, right? So, but I didn't want to play Dragoons because I want to keep this to a 40 card list and not play just bad cards. Like a lot of the time, if you're a trap deck, and even like what I mentioned with the Burning Abyss list, you need everything you have going second if you lose the die roll. So obviously Fog Blade's very good and stuff. So and then 3 Horror House and 2 of these. This one's better. This is the Book of Moon one essentially, and then this is the Rhoda / MST. So these are just very good for the Arlecchino. I just really enjoy those. So that ratio, anyways. And then still 3 Ice Dragons Prison. I think this card is just very standard in trap decks. You want to show them this card, baby? Pretty solemn Solemn Strike. That card's just very nuts as well. And like the Burning Abyss list that I played, obviously you don't have a bunch of floater effects like you do from the graveyard, but not like Burning Abyss where like if they all died, then you could, trigger their effects and stuff. Like the Phantom Knights aren't like that. You have to actually interact with the Phantom Knight cards to get them to trigger. So I kept the board wipe to just like a very standard count, which I just kept the 3 Torrential. Like I was playing the Needle Ceiling last list, just because like once you put the monsters on the board, you could still wipe your own board and they would all still interact and still get you there. So that was just, I just think Torrential is very good. And then, you want to show them this card, baby? This is the only hand trap I'm playing. This is a trap deck. Obviously, a 3 imperm. Those cards are just very nuts. So this is, like I said, this is a 40 card list. And for the extra deck, so I kind of, it's kind of the same as the Burning Abyss list that I posted, but it's obviously very different, I guess, in that same fashion. I'm actually still playing the 2 Zeus, but so the this card's nuts. The Break Sword, the like I mentioned, the Leviair. You want to show them this card? You like that card, baby? Yeah, the Fortune Tune. Show them this card too. I still kept in the Nightmare Shark because, like, I know some of these cards lock you into darks, but I think these cards are still worth playing. And then for the Break Sword, I chose to play this. You want to show them that one, baby? This is a Time Thief. This card is just very nuts. Like, with back row, like, once you tag, like, after you tag, you Break Sword, bring the 2 back, make the 4 into this. You can see what they're playing, etc., and then you have back row, and then you just see you later. This card kind of controls the game on its own a lot of the time, which is very nice. And then shout out to my boy Devin. He let me borrow his Downard. I actually am playing Downard in this list because when it locks you into darks, you kind of have to play this. And then I'm still playing the 2 Zeus. I think the 2 Zeus is just for the long haul of the game, but I think this is fairly correct in my opinion. So you want to show them this card, baby?
Yeah.
The 1 Masquerade, show them this one. 1 Nightmare, and Cherubini, obviously the Cherubini. So I'm going to go over the Cherubini in a little bit. This is the best one. You can show them that one, baby. This is the Link 3. Obviously the Rusty. I mean, this card, look at this mat too. This mat's just fire. And I don't know if you can tell, but this Field Center is Rusty bar. It's just kind of, you can't really tell because it looks kind of like garbage. But so that Link 3, and then you want to show them this one, baby?
Yeah.
Tell them it's collector's rare.
It looks like a unicorn.
It is. And then the last 2, you want to show them these 2, baby?
Yeah.
All right. The 2 Link 4. So once again, I'm not playing Appaloosa or, like I said in the BA list, there's no reason to play Monster Negates, I think, in a trap deck just because the traps deal with it for you. So also there's the Boral Sword too is like one of my favorite things. So if you don't want to go Rusty, you can make. And I'm not playing the Trisbani like I was in the BA list just because I like the traps in this list more, and you don't end on Beatrice obviously. So, but the Cherubini to send the Graph to send, you know what I mean, and you end up averaging the 3 monsters, and this will be Link 2 into the Boral Sword, and then you can just game them, and you still have a bunch of traps, so it's just very nice. So. For this list too, like obviously I don't have a combo.
Go downstairs.
Alright, baby. You go do that.
Well, I'm gonna come back up in a minute though.
Alright, you do that.
My friends.
Alright, love you. But the Boral Sword is just, I think it's the one I use more than the access code, to be fair. But it's just, there's not really honorable mentions in this list. There's like the Utopic Future, the rank up build or whatever. I don't like that kind of list. I would just rather prefer, if I'm playing traps, I'd rather play Control instead of like, hey dude, this is how it goes. But the Phantom Knight stuff is just crazy in the graveyard, you know what I mean? So also one thing that's kind of cool about this deck too is it's like if they dweller you in a bad position, the Arlecchino can just actually help you out of that game state. So like you can, when they're like they lock you out of the Fog Blade or they're like, something like that. With Dweller, you can still just Shade Brigandine, summon the Arlecchino, and then you can actually play, which is very interesting to me. So I just really like this interaction. I want to show you guys this list. So
She's not answering.
okay, but yeah, guys. Also, I want to give a couple shout outs. Like I said, Devin. I want to shout out my amazing girlfriend for doing the filming for me. Also, Cody, bro, if you watch this, we are using your tripod. It's fucking, very good. And do you want to shout anybody out, baby? Alright, we're going to shout out Snorlax and Phil. Snorlax is my favorite Pokemon, but you know, and I want to obviously shout out my daughter Madison. So she's
Maggie.
Maddie. All right, sorry. She likes that name for now for some reason, but she's gonna watch this in 10 years and be like, wow.
My teacher calls me that.
Yeah, well, her teachers are great. So, yeah, guys, without further ado, thanks for watching. Cheers.